All right, and we're starting episode 8 of Know the Game podcast. And we took last week off. That was our show's bye week, if you will. And we're
Whose fault
glad.
was that?
Yeah, that was my fault, not feeling too hot this past week. So glad to be
No,
here. Got
you're
2 weeks.
fine, dude. It happens to all of us. For those that aren't aware, Cameron came down with AIDS. We're certainly thinking about him, but no, he had a little cold last week, so we paused the show. I'm glad he's back to normal. We are gonna catch you guys up on what's been going on in the league the past couple weeks.
Yep, pumped to talk about it. So I think Jeff and I decided that we would kind of briefly go over the winners and losers of week 7 because that was the week that we were off. So really quick, we can kind of talk about these. So you had me getting a very close victory over Robbie, and it was really Brandon Ayuk at the very end getting the win. Jeff, I'm so sorry. I'm getting a work call right here. Do you want to take over?
Yeah, I can do that. So as what Cameron was talking about, what Cameron was just mentioning is that he did squeak out a very tight win over Robbie last week. In the Monday night game, Ayuk got just enough for him to emerge past Robbie. And then, of course, if you look at the next matchup, we get into the most depressing one across the board, simply because it involves me and losing by less than 1 point. Going into Monday night, Kevin had Purdy, Kittle, and San Francisco's defense, and Minnesota really had their way with San Francisco with that game. And unfortunately, I just could not squeak out enough, and I couldn't hold Purdy from getting a last couple of completions that pushed him just across the finish line and secured a less than 1 point victory over myself. So that one really, really hurt. Dropped me to, what was it? Dropped me to 2-5 on the year. But across the board, there were some, those two matchups mentioned were the closest of the week, following with Broyles and Sloman's matchup. Sloman edged out an 8-point victory there. Trey knocked off DJ pretty handedly. Jonas has emerged. He is back. He has won a couple of weeks in a row. Knocked off Burleson in blowout fashion as well. And then finally, Parson continues to do what Parson does. Just keeps winning each week. He is current leader in the clubhouse in our league. He's the only manager with a 6-2 record. You can't see the full picture at the bottom, but it does include what has happened in last week and this previous week. As you can see, the North Division is tight as usual. Let me see if I can. Nope, it's not going to let me. But just to kind of give you guys an idea, the South Division, Parson has a 2-game lead in that division. Kevin currently leads the East Division by 2 games as well. And then the West Division, Skunk has a slim lead over Trey, and I am trying to get back towards the top, but it is a struggle. And it looks like Mr. Cameron has returned. Welcome back. Thank you. This is terrifying.
Didn't mean to hang you out to dry. That's my fault, guys. I have a full-time job outside of doing this, so sometimes when people call, you just have to take a phone call.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
So I'm assuming you got all the way through the week 7 matchups.
Yeah, briefly touched on the results from week 7, and then I kind of went through and just mentioned the standings right now, including what happened this past week. So yeah, just if you were able to, I think you scrolled down a little earlier. I just kind of gave them a rundown of who the division leader currently is and by how many games and what's tight and what's kind of becoming, a larger. I don't know. Parsons got a 2-game lead. Kevin's got a 2-game lead, and the other 2 divisions are much tighter. So if you wanted to expand on that, you can. But it just Parsons seems to be taking a grip on the league right now.
Yeah, now that's the obvious. Tyler Parson has definitely separated himself from the rest of everybody else. Dylan and Kevin have had some challenges. It was Kevin on top for the first half of this season, and now Tyler's put himself on a win streak of 4 games. So he's hot right now. Hard to stop Tyler. But on the other end, you've got DJ and Jonas hovering right there near the bottom. And it's competitive right there in the middle. I mean, from about Sloman all the way down to where you're at, Jeff. We're all a couple of games back, and it just takes having some good weeks, stringing together some wins.
Yeah, it does seem like Parsons' division is the one that is getting we're getting a good look at what could unfold in the weeks to come, just because we're heading into is this week 9 that we're fixing to be in?
Yep.
And Parsons got a 4-game lead on DJ, 2-game lead on Broyles. So it just seems like at the moment we're all chasing Parson.
Yep, and he played Kevin this past week. This is their matchup if you're looking at the screen here.
So from this previous week, we did have a pretty heavy matchup with Parson and Kevin. And Parson, despite both teams really having good weeks, Parson was just able to get more of those home run plays. ETN had a 40-plus yard touchdown. Jamar Chase did Jamar Chase. And then, of course, when you stack that with Burrow, there's that 50-point game that we have alluded to in previous weeks. So that's a pretty common occurrence with those two.
Dude, I mean, Tyler had somebody goose egg and still put up 163. That's crazy.
That is. I just noticed that he had Sanders.
Yeah.
And he has no stats. Did he not get a carry at all?
I think they chose to keep him out of the game last minute. Either that or Chuba Hubbard just got all of the carries for whatever reason. I'm not sure.
That's surprising because, Carolina brings Miles Sanders over in free agency and okay. So he had 2 carries for 0 yards.
So he was in the game.
He did play. That's even more concerning that he was active and only had 2 touches.
Yep. There's no bueno. But yeah, as you can see, Tyler with a strong finish. I mean, everybody else on his team put up double-digit points, and that's what did it for him.
I wonder what the asking price is for Kamara. I mean, he is just – was he the RB1 right now, in your opinion?
I would say so. Consistently, either him or CMC.
Yeah, it just seems like Kamara, I swear, he has like at least 5 catches a game. He scored another, 2 touchdowns this previous weekend. He has been on fire.
Yep, coming right out of the gate, super hot. There was a little side-by-side comparison of what CMC and Alvin have done since they come in the league, and it's like identical, whether it's, carries, rushing yards, receptions, receiving yards, touchdowns, all of that. They're like neck and neck. So we've got Smitty Werben Jaegerman Jensen joining us. I would love to know who this is.
I've got a feeling, but I'm not going to spoil it.
Yeah, I feel like I know who it is too. So this is the hot matchup of the week last week because there was
my goodness,
a lot of trash talk going back and forth, but this was the one everybody was looking forward to, I think.
This really, and for those that don't know, this got sort of personal during the week. There were photos exchanged between family members, and it got super, super awkward. It wasn't really awkward. It was all fun and games, but it was really cool to see just the lengths that some of these managers will go to talk some trash.
And it helps that they live in the same town, so you can kind of get back and pull some pranks in person, whereas it's a little more challenging for us that are separated here in different cities. And
I guess it's beneficial to Jonas that he had to have, some sort of like chiropractic work done this week because that worked out pretty well for his trash talk. Didn't work out well on the field though for him, but at least he got in a good, segment of getting in Sloman's head early on.
Yeah. And, Sloman's team basically performed pretty similar to Parsons. He had his entire roster go off minus Darren Waller. And then with Jonas, he had a great week. Would have beat everybody else in the league except for maybe 2 or 3 teams. Man,
And
AJ
that's what
Brown,
hurts is that when you're in Jonas's position and you need these weeks where if you score 150, you think you've got it, but then you run across someone who has Josh Allen, Tyreek, and Jahmyr Gibbs has been the featured back. So it's so brutal. Jonas has really put together a solid roster this year and just can't find it right now.
nope, he sits in 11th spot, and Connor has moved himself up the chain to number 2, sitting right there behind Parson.
And if you want to click on his bench players, who is his quarterback? Because if you notice, it has been Kirk Cousins who is out for the year. And he does not have one.
That is true.
So I'm sure he'll be active on the waiver wire, or maybe I can send him a trade and if he's in desperation mode.
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, anybody looking for some trade leverage, looks like Jonas needs a QB.
Don't know how many of those are available, but if you've got a solidified starter and you've got a backup on your roster that you feel could be an everyday starter, shoot Jonas a trade.
Yep. Or take a look at your waiver wire, see if there's anybody worth picking up. I think you'll have, some quarterbacks on there like Derek Carr, maybe Jordan Love. Those aren't top tier fantasy QB options by any means, but I think a couple of those guys could at least secure you double digit points.
Yeah, absolutely. Check the waiver wires before you make any trades out there just for a quarterback, because I know that's going to hurt a little.
Man, and he's got Gus Edwards and Jordan Addison, putting up nearly 20 points between each one.
Yeah,
bench.
Gus Edwards is a tough one. You just never know. I feel like that's a wild card. And then, with his receivers, he started Pittman, found the end zone, had a solid outing, and then Thielen and AJ. I mean, what do? Your receivers are doing what they're supposed to do.
Yep, you don't go away from that right now. Thielen's hot, getting a lot of touches. AJ Brown's going crazy. Breece Hall, amazing game from him.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, again, tough loss for Jonas, solid win for Connor. I think that one wraps that particular matchup up. I think the next one would be Trey and Burleson's matchup.
Yeah, just another one of those games where both teams have solid outputs. Just one comes out on top of the other, and you can kind of contribute some of Burleson's higher point totals to, of course, Dallas' defense, and then Tua had a good game. Waddle had a late touchdown. But yeah, ultimately, Dallas' defense gets it done again for Burleson.
I mean, everybody sees the situation that Davante Adams is in right now, and he's really frustrated with, I think, his QB's play and maybe just the team's play overall. I mean, I was hoping he puts up 20 points, then Burleson scores 170. His team can go off any given week.
I know, and today was the trade deadline in the NFL, and everyone is kind of hoping that Davante would have gotten moved just for his sake, but Vegas continues to hold him. I mean, it's hard to blame them, but I just hate to see Davante go down this route because it just seems like I just don't know if we'll see him ever make a deep playoff run in Vegas.
I mean, it kind of sucks because he came there for Derek Carr. That's like who he played with in college. And then, Carr ends up in New Orleans. So it's kind of a bummer for him.
Yep, he's just kind of out there on an island on his own. But
anybody worth noting on these two teams here for this past week? I mean, everybody's kind of like right there in the middle.
Looks like Burleson's just going to keep trying to survive with his running backs. Not to say DeAndre's bad. He's been solid. It's just when your RB2 is Chuba Hubbard, you would love to try to improve at your RB2. But if you're winning every week, you'll just keep rolling with it.
Stick with what works. And, dude, my division is so hard with him and Sloman in it. They're both 5-3. I'm 4-4. I'm like fighting for my life in the division.
Once you get one of those top 8 spots, you're good.
Well, hopefully my trade with you today will assist in that. Connor didn't think that it worked well on my end, but I felt like there was some benefit because I just honestly was getting tired of holding Aaron. He's sort of frustrated me. I think that I'm being a little impatient with it, but I'm just ready to move away from him.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about that trade.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, so here another one of those. I don't want to say must win. It's still early, but a huge win for Robbie. He was also one of the managers. Staring, he's currently at 2-5. Did not want to fall to that 2-6 mark, and he was able to pull it out against Brules. Which, I mean, a win against Brules when you have a roster like his, that is a huge, huge. It's more than just a win. I mean, that can be, in my opinion, if you get a win over Brules, that's season altering.
Yeah, I think so. 100%. I mean,
only because you go into that game thinking, okay, when you look at that roster of Broles's, you don't have a lot of high hopes. So Robbie able to get 37 from Lamb really made the biggest difference in this game.
But look at the performances from Brules' team, like Cooper Kupp 6, Puka Nacua 7. Like that has to be like a season low for Puka.
And I would think for Kupp too, for the games that he's actually played in. Just one of those weeks where it just doesn't go your way. I could have used that a couple weeks ago, but that's not important right now. But yeah, Robbie catches Brules on a week where some of his players kind of underperform. Just, it happens to all of us.
You got a very dominating win over over DJ, last place in the league. I felt
very good just to get back in the win column, and thanks to, I can't believe I'm saying this, Will Levis and DeAndre Hopkins.
I thought that was crazy.
I'll take it any week. Any week they want to trot Will Levis out there and just let him throw deep balls, I'm all for it.
It looked like it worked out for him, so that's great. And Detroit 30-point fantasy game, so that obviously helped you out. Sam Laporta had a good week, and then
picked up Detroit's defense like randomly, maybe last Thursday, and boy, I'm so glad I did.
Yeah, that's a good call. They put up a lot of points for you. And then you've got a great bench. Honestly, that's why I was, targeting you for some trades, is because you had some people that I could tell that you weren't really going to get a chance to start them. So
yeah, I've been perfectly happy with the depth, and it's honestly been kind of troubling some weeks because I don't know who I should plug in, and this is just another example of, Deontay Johnson 16, Javonte 16, Zach Moss 14. But I'll be honest, Zach Moss is just there for emergencies if Jonathan Taylor can't go 1 week.
Yeah.
But I would love a repeat performance from Njoku this week because I've got Sam Laporta and he's on a bye.
Yeah, put up 17 points on your bench. So hopefully, you can at least feel confident that he's getting targeted and, in the red zone as well.
And one last thing, I'm really surprised DJ did not play the Jets defense.
They were playing the New York Giants.
Yeah.
13 tackles for losses. That's
10 3-and-outs.
Ouch.
Yeah. So
it doesn't change the outcome of the game, but it definitely puts you in a little bit more of a competitive position.
Oh man, last night I would have been on absolute pins and needles because if he's got that extra 23 points, I'm freaking out because it wasn't much for me to win last night. I didn't need 30 from Detroit, but I'll gladly take it. But yeah, just super thankful that he decided to roll with the Falcons defense. And I would have thought they would have played better. I wouldn't have expected Levis to throw 4 touchdowns.
No. I think that nobody really knows what to expect out of Levis coming out of this, especially since he's a rookie. But, man, it seems like him and Hopkins have something going, so maybe they can continue that.
They will. I talked to both of them today. They're going to keep it going.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, tell D-Hop to send me a signed jersey then, why don't you?
Yep. As soon as he scores me another 20-point game, you got a jersey coming your way.
And look, we're not going to spend much time on this one. I lost. All right, it is what it is.
Why not?
Nah, just look, Dylan's got a good team. He's got CMC, arguably, between him and Kamara, best back in the league right now. Jalen Hurts handling business. Jacksonville's defense,
He actually started Rachaad White.
Yep, finally did. And then the week that he did, and it gets me. And I've been sending him trades for Rashad White all year, so I'm sure he's smiling behind his computer somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure, because if you've been inquiring about him all year, he hasn't played him all year and decides to plug him in against you. I mean, that skunk knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he does. So, I'll give it to him. There's not much I could have done differently, honestly. I decided to bench Calvin this week because Kendrick Bourne was having some success. And guess what? I start him, tears his ACL, out for the season.
Well, I mean, I know the stat line doesn't look good, but he did score. But yeah, that's unfortunate that the moment you plug him in, he's immediately out for the year.
Can't believe it. Right on par. There's a couple of good things I can take out of this week, though. Jackson Smith-Njigba scored 2 weeks in a row. He's starting to become, I feel like, a little bit more involved in the offense, so I can plug him in my flex. Honestly, you've got Aaron Jones now. I'm sure you have. You said you had a comment about that, so I'm interested to hear your take.
Yeah. So now that we have covered all the matchups, I did want to mention that today me and Cameron agreed to a trade. If you wanted to prop that up there for the world to see, if you go to transactions down there. And we had a trade last week as well between DJ and Parson, just a little simple receiver for running back, sort of balances out Parsons' running back depth. He acquired Najee Harris and then gave away Tyler Boyd. Pretty simple trade. Unfortunately, Najee Harris has not been what we had hoped for this year, so obviously his value is a little bit lower. I'm able to get him in return for a player like Boyd. And then for the trade today between me and Cameron, it is that top transaction right there. I gave him James Cook and Deontay Johnson, and in return, I got Aaron Jones and Calvin Ridley. I thought it was solid both ways. Honestly, we've only heard one other opinion. I'm just still waiting on Broyles and Jonas to come in and say how colluded the league is, but we have not heard anything from them yet. So,
yeah. I mean, on paper, it looks like I lose this trade, but I've been watching them both just suck it up for me in my lineup for most of the year, and I just can't wait any longer. I had to deal them. We all know what Calvin Ridley can do. He's a great player. We all know what Aaron Jones can do when he's involved in that offense, but their rushing game has not really been all that great. So had a couple of people in a bye week this week. I just needed some people to plug in, so I was glad to get some people that are going to see touches. James Cook.
I get that. And, don't get me wrong, I have enjoyed James Cook all year. He's been pretty solid for an RB2, and Deontay Johnson, ever since he's come back, has been getting targets. So I think, it's a win for you. It's a win for me. This is kind of what we look for in trades. I'm sort of taking a gamble. Aaron Jones and that offense is kind of gross right now, but I'm hoping they can turn things around, and I just hope Trevor Lawrence can look at Ridley's way a little bit more often down the stretch.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy to hear him referred to as a wide receiver number 2 right now, but Christian Kirk has been the obvious favorite for Trevor Lawrence, it seems.
Yeah, and Evan Ingram and ETN. It just seems like Ridley's kind of been, maybe he's just taking up all the eyes and it's opening up the other guys. I don't know.
Could be. I mean, maybe that's what Calvin is going to be good for. He'll have his moments where he, burns somebody downfield, but he's going to have a corner one guarding him. Somebody like Sauce, somebody like Jalen Ramsey is going to be on Calvin. So it's going to free those other guys up.
But yeah, that's just kind of a small recap. We've only had a couple of trades in the past couple of weeks, and both of them occurred in the past couple of days. But yeah, that just kind of brings us to week 9, brand new week. Let's go.
All right. First matchup is Dylan and Robbie. We've actually got Robbie on the call.
Let's see. So can you go and show the bench players? I want to see if they're anybody. Okay, so Burleson's obviously got Ingram on a bye. Of course, that means same for Robbie with Christian Kirk. Montgomery's on a bye. So there are a couple of, managers here fighting some bye weeks. But
yep. Looks like he picked up Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yeah. But it looks like his lineup is pretty set, and we've seen what Tank Dell can do. He's one big play away from getting him, 20
20,
points.
30 points. Yep. Jahan Dotson had a really good week this past week. I know that because he was on my bench in a couple of other leagues. So that was really good to see. But up until that point, he didn't have really a big showing until that game. So,
Right.
but it's somebody for Robbie that you can plug in your flex, and he's at least going to get you double-digit points. I can hope.
And I'm sure this week Burleson is hoping to get double-digit points out of Devontae. I'll be curious if, obviously, Devontae's not someone that you just want to get rid of, but, I mean, the weeks continue on, and if there continues to be single-digit outings, you just wonder about the frustration levels for Devontae Adams.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. He's got Evan Ingram out on a bye week, so Dylan's going to have to pick up a tight end.
Yeah, I wonder if there's any. I want to say there was a couple of decent.
Let's take a look.
Some plug-in guys that he could maybe go after.
Tight end.
I already see who I'd go after.
Who's that?
Taysom Hill.
Yeah. Be a good guy to go after, that's for sure.
When did you drop Hunter Henry?
A couple of weeks ago.
Probably a good call. He's been sort of quiet lately.
Yeah, I ended up. It's funny. I had Cole Kmet when the season started. Dropped him for a while. I now have Cole Kmet back on my team.
Do you really?
Yeah, and I've had Noah Fant too, but I believe I dropped him.
Okay, so it was just going to be back and forth on the tight ends for a little while.
Rotating tight ends, going for matchups if I can. So
I like that. But yeah, it just looks like Taysom Hill is a very solid option available out there. Yeah, Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill. I would agree with that.
I wonder how much money Burleson has to spend. He's got $56. He can
make it happen.
He could outbid you for him, that's for sure.
Yeah, he could. But if Robbie wanted to pick him up for some weird reason, he could spend all his money on Taysom Hill just in spite Dylan.
Oh my gosh. I mean, technically, yeah, he could.
Or he could spend $57 and then he would be good.
Oh, that'd make me sick if I was Burleson.
I may have given Robbie an idea, or he may just be thinking that already. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Let's see. So you got Dylan and DJ. I think this is going to be a win for Dylan. I just finished playing him. He's got a great team. He's got Nico Collins, Mostert, which has been back.
So I guess the 49ers are on a bye week? Yep, they certainly are.
They are, because I'm having to put Ayuk on my bench.
Boy, DJ's going to need a quarterback because he's got Goff and Lawrence. They're both on byes.
Yep.
And he's got Judy on a bye. Deebo Samuel's on a bye, but he's been injured. Boy.
This is an easy win for Dylan this week.
This is bye week hell. Yeah, I'll probably go Skunk. And then going back to Robbie and Burleson, I think.
Oh, yeah. Didn't even call that matchup.
Yeah, I was trying to think. Yeah, pull that one back up. I want to see roster real quick, see who's battling.
Pick Burleson.
Robbie, is that your way of saying that we're jinxing you every week if we pick in your favor?
No, I just do not pick my team. I will disappoint you.
It's okay. I feel that way myself recently. It never goes in my favor.
I did not beat Brawls this past week. He lost. I didn't win.
Oh, why do you feel that way? Just a slow week for Brawls, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, between Cup, Puka, Kelsey, and Lamar, they all had very below average weeks.
Yeah,
for Brawls. Yeah. So I just feel like I kind of got lucky playing him that week that I did.
I mean, to get a win against Brawls, though, what we were saying, Robbie, is that's a solid dub to come away with because not everybody that you play against is going to have his roster.
Oh, I don't get it with my team. I mean, I think Loman and Parson are ranked first and second. Those are 2 of my 3 wins, and my other win is Broyles.
That's crazy.
So, like, I beat those 3, but I can't beat anybody else. So, we'll see.
So you play your best against the best competition.
It seems like it.
And you play
It
down
seems
to the
like
competition.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I'm
Well,
trying to think. I think, golly, I want to. If I'll say this, if Burleson gets Taysom Hill, I kind of do favor Burleson.
All right, it's $50. It is.
50,
yeah,
I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that.
I don't know. I know it's probably tempting, but you do have to sort of think strategically about the rest of the year with your money.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. Not doing it.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
it's hard to go away with Burleson on this one, especially if he picks up a tight end spot. Hopefully that will jinx Dylan, and it'll end up in Robbie's favor because I can take Dylan getting a loss. I need every loss from him and Sloman that I can get.
There you go. Great pick.
Yeah. All right. So that covers that game, and the next match. Let's see what we got.
Oh yeah, we're starting to get into. We just gonna go skunk on that one.
Sloman and Kevin.
Yeah. Boy. Bye week hell.
Yeah, for that last one, definitely skunk.
Kevin's got Purdy, Kittle, and San Francisco on a bye.
Not good for him.
Go down to show his bench real quick. I want to see if he's got plugins for quarterback or tight end. Obviously, I don't anticipate him having one for defense.
He's got Irv Smith Jr. as a replacement for tight end.
Has he really done much this year?
No, I mean, there are better options on the waiver wire than him.
Yeah, so I guess we may have a battle for Taysom Hill.
Could be. I mean, there's about 2 or 3 people that need a QB, 2 or 3 people that need a tight end this week. So expect to see some action early in the morning. When do they actually hit? Isn't it 3 or 4 a.m.?
Yeah, sometime between 3 and 4. I don't know if it's like 3:15 or 3:30, but either way, we'll all be hopefully passed out during that time. So we always wake up to different surprises.
Yep. Sometimes I'll be up.
And it looks like even Connor this week is having to roll with sort of a backup tight end with Trey McBride. Darren Waller's kind of experiencing some injuries, so he's gotten ahead of the curve and already picked up his tight end.
Yes, he did. Did indeed.
And he's also having to roll with Jaylen Warren because of Gibbs on a bye. But Kevin would still need, Kamara to keep doing Kamara things. Needs Pollard to get going, and he's got a tough matchup in Philly.
And there could be rain in that game in Cleveland and Arizona. So,
yeah, as if that matchup was ugly enough, they're going to throw rain on top of it.
Yep. This is going to be a tough one. Game of the week, potentially the battle of the 5 and 3s.
I was going to say whoever can manage to come away with this and go to 6 and 3. I mean, I know playoffs are still, several weeks away, but if you can get to 6 and 3, I mean, you are sitting comfortably. You can afford some bad weeks and still manage your way in.
So who are you leaning, Jeff?
Just based on roster this week, I'm gonna lean Sloman. Depending on what Kevin does in free agency, but at the moment, I like Sloman to take this one.
I'm gonna pick Kevin for the dub. I'm gonna have faith that he's gonna pick up somebody in all 3 of the position that he needs filled, and he's gonna get a dub. And Burleson's gonna take an L, and Sloman's gonna take an L, and I'm gonna come away with a dub this week. That's
you realize you are just adding more fuel to this fire that Sloman claims you never pick him.
I picked him I picked him the week that he won, though.
I know. 1 week out of the 8, he's gonna be upset when he watches this.
Yeah, I love you, Sloman. It's nothing personal, buddy. I just really want you to lose this week.
That sounds kind of personal.
I want you to lose every week because you're in my division, but I love you.
Yeah, I get that. I just can't wait to hear this because every week It's the same thing. So, I'm so excited now. I wish he was able to sit in here.
He's all caps. You never pick me to win. Which there's some truth to that, but it is what it is.
Yeah. I don't blame you though. Divisional rival, I get it. You got to earn, find ways to climb up in the divisional, try to get that, division winner spot. So, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Jeff, look at who you're playing this week.
I don't want to do this.
May the fantasy gods have mercy on your soul.
Yeah, well, they're probably going to. And he's freaking playing mind games with me, putting all his best players on his bench.
Is that who Smitty Werben Jaegerman Jensen is? Is that?
I'm going to go on a limb here and say that's Parson, even though he will never admit it. But, yeah, that lineup, honestly, I don't know.
He's just playing mind games with you.
He is. He's kind of doing what Jonas likes to do, except he's got his worst players in his lineup.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'm going to say about this is that I do like the fact that it's Cincy and Buffalo this week, because that is at least going to be super competitive. Defense is going to really try to be grinding. So I'm hoping that's just one of those ugly games where Parson just does not benefit from another 50-point outing from Burrow and Chase.
It's kind of funny. His defense is working against his quarterback this week.
Yep, and I don't think he'll change that. I don't know. Go down a little bit. See if he's got another defense.
He does not.
Okay, no, he won't. He's not going to not play Buffalo then.
Yeah, I mean, it's either Buffalo has a good game or Cincy does.
Yep. So
that's a given. But
yeah, I've got to sort of figure out something as well. I've got a lot of people on bye weeks this week, but I am able to fill out a roster, so I'm happy about that.
One thing that I will say, if you're looking at your team after if Justin Jefferson comes back, you've got Justin Jefferson, Calvin Ridley, D-Hop, Olave. Your receivers are loaded.
Yep. I just hope Jefferson comes back, dude, because now that Kirk Cousins is gone for the year, I am so sick to my stomach thinking Jefferson may not come back.
That would suck a lot.
Because if he's not back, I still feel okay about my receivers. It's just Jefferson is an automatic 20 almost every week. I could really use that in my lineup.
Well, do you get the dub this week?
I'm certainly hopeful. It would be great to give Parson an L, considering he's the number one guy in the league. He's won 4 straight weeks. I just don't know. I hate the firepower he has in Burrow and Chase and Devontae, and Hawkinson has done nothing but benefit from Jefferson's absence. So I'm going me.
Oh, man.
I'm getting the win, Parson. I know you're in here. I know you can hear me. You're going down, son. You're done for.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jeff. I just don't think that's happening, sir. I think
you bastard. I had this entire spill, and you're still gonna go against me.
It's not gonna happen. It's he's got T.J. Hawk, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow. I mean, Jerome Ford, Josh.
I need a pen. I'm going to write your name down, Cameron. I'm going to just put it in a drawer, and I'm going to remind myself that you picked against me when I was trying to give myself a boost in confidence. So I'm going to remember that.
All right. Hello, Brawls. How's it going, man?
What's up?
Are you driving?
Well, for legal purposes, no.
Well, he is not driving, folks. He is in a parked position joining our call.
A parked car. Very, very parked.
Immobilized.
But, yeah, I appreciate you guys having me, of course. As always, I'm just going to sit back until I'm needed. So,
definitely.
Sounds good. Appreciate you joining, Rules.
We'll probably be getting to his matchup here in a minute.
Yeah, I don't think we've covered his Week 9 matchup yet, so just move on from this matchup before I get even more upset at you. Oh my gosh.
Battle of the Halavillians. All right.
I love it.
Brules
Oh,
playing Jonas.
man.
It's me and Jonas this week. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, I'm so excited now because, Brules, you have no bye week issues. You got your full starting lineup.
It's been amazing these last couple of weeks. I've just skated through with absolutely no bye week problems at all. I'm afraid, though, I think with the Rams, with me having Cup and Puka, that's going to be tough when their bye week hits. I'm not sure which week it is, but I'm sure it's coming up soon.
Are you concerned at all with Stafford's injury?
Yes and no. I'm concerned because last year, when Stafford didn't play, the offense was kind of very different. But I'm also excited because the run game is also kind of non-existent for the Rams this year, so they're going to have to throw it. Just a lot of short and intermediate routes. Hopefully, I'm not sure who their backup quarterback is. Do y'all know?
I don't. I know at one point, I remember Bryce Perkins was their backup. I don't think that's the case now.
Was Buddy from Georgia not also on there? But I think he got cut. Did he not?
He's away from the team.
Okay. He heard he was an alcoholic.
Yep, he's got some alky issues. Their backup right now, according to the roster, is Brett Rippin.
Oh, wow.
Where in the world did he come from?
I'm trying to find it. I want to say he was out of either Washington or Washington State, maybe.
I really wanted to say he was a West Coast guy, honestly, because I'm not the greatest college football savant, but usually if you're a pretty good quarterback worthy of getting NFL drafted over in the East, I probably know you.
Yep, I've got that for you right now. So he actually played at Boise State, and that actually, I remember that now.
Yeah, it does sound familiar. I'm pretty sure he lost me a lot of games.
Also, not referring to anything illegal.
No, nothing. All bets placed in a legal state. Let me go ahead and prove that.
Kellen Moore you.
So what do you think, Cameron? Initial thoughts on this matchup?
I mean, this is going to be a close one, to be honest with you. Jonas, every time that he's lost a game, it's been a close one, or he's just had a really horrible week, but he's got a great team. So,
yeah.
I've got to go Brules.
I'm going to go Brules too. I think just losing Kirk Cousins is going to hurt him. Maybe he gets a better outing out of Dameon Pierce. He's been a little quiet this year. But yeah, I kind of like Brules. He's fully healthy. He's no bye week issues this week. I kind of like the spot Brules is in right here. What do you think, Brules? What do you think about y'all's matchup?
It's a tough one. It is a tough one. I think we match up really well. I like Dobbs. I like the move, Dobbs to Minnesota. I don't think he'll be ready to go this week, but that always factors into this because they're not going to have a lot of, I guess, deep thinking plays for Dobbs. It's going to be short, quick routes. And if Jonas ends up playing, I don't know if he has Addison in there now, but if he does end up having Addison in there, I think that's going to be it's going to be one of those that could go either way, but I'd lean it going the better way, honestly.
So, yeah, I did want to mention that I cannot even remember the name that was thrown out there, but they named the starter, that Jalen, what's his name? Anyway, they're rolling with the quarterback, and they're going to give Dobbs time to get acclimated to the offense.
I figured that.
But I'll say this in Jones's favor. If he's not comfortable with Dameon Pierce, this feels like an Alexander Madison week where they rely heavily on the run. So maybe look for Jonas to maybe make that lineup change if they want to get the new quarterback comfortable this week. That's just my take. If I'm Jonas, I'm probably going to play Madison instead of Pierce.
He's in a big bounce back spot. I will say that Jonas is in a big bounce back spot after the letdown last week, so he's going to be ready.
Quarterback this week for the Vikings, Jaron Hall.
Jaron Hall.
Rookie out of BYU.
Well, we know how Max is, so we can just imagine he's going to be the same.
Zach Wilson protege.
Ready to roll. So.
But yeah, bros, I just, given the circumstances, I do like, you got Terry McLaurin on your bench.
Well, I swapped him and Higgins. Yeah, Higgins was my flex last week. I'm still looking at the matchups this week, so I don't know. It's getting to the territory because last week Kupp and Puka didn't really show up or show out like they're used to. I don't know if they're ready for a bounce back spot this weekend, especially with Stafford's injury. But I'm kind of trying to have to pick between one of those two right now because I feel like Terry did show good enough last week, 15 points. I mean, him and Kincaid both are vying for a spot. So who knows? Who knows?
Looks like there's some chance of showers in that game too, Broles.
Which one?
The Rams at Green Bay.
Well, that's just one thing you're going to have to realize going into Green. I think every team prepares for that, honestly, going into Green Bay with how terrible the weather is. And it's one of those things like, you see that game on the schedule, you're like, all right, well, it's going to be a gritty and a grimy game just because of the location. So hopefully things are looking up for me just because y'all know that this is the second game to me being in the championship game that I like to win. And we're just gonna have to see how it goes. I don't know if me and Jonas will put any money on the side of it right now, but you don't know, it might make things a little spicy.
Yeah, I don't know if Jonas will be in a hurry to put more money on another matchup, considering he's down 100 from last week.
I'm just ready for Jonas to start selling because I really want AJ Brown.
I was gonna bring that up. I wonder if you take him down this week and he falls to 2-7 and the playoffs start to diminish, does Jonas start selling for first round picks? Because I know a few buyers that would be wanting AJ and Brees for sure.
That might be a little bet that we make. Like if I beat him this week, he at least has to give me the first dibs on both of those guys. At least let me get my best offer before you move on to somebody else.
I got you. That's a fair statement.
So we're both going to this matchup.
Yeah, I was about to conclude this matchup with Broles being the winner, and maybe we look at a fire sale coming up from Jonas.
Well, I think that brings us to our last matchup, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, looks like you've got Trey, a battle of the 4 and 4s. Someone's going to move above 500, someone's going to fall below.
And I honestly think that I take another loss this week. I have really struggled recently, and on top of that, I've got who I would consider to be my best receiver on a bye week this week. That's going to hurt me a lot.
Well, there's two sides of that because it looks like Amon-Ra's on a bye for Trey.
I did not realize that. That is going to help a lot.
Yeah, so don't sell yourself short yet. Now, it does look like Trey's going to have to roll with Elijah Moore, and he's going to roll with Darrell Henderson this week.
I don't like he put Diggs in his flex. He's messing with my mind.
That is kind of peculiar that Elijah Moore slotted in the wide receiver too. Diggs is in his flex.
I don't like that.
That kind of got me for a second too as I was going from top to bottom of his lineup. I thought, wow, you got to no, wait, there's Diggs.
Yeah. But I'd say one thing that'll help me this week that was doing the trade with you because I did not have really a solid RB2 option. I didn't know what Devontae Foreman was going to do. I've got Algier and Zeke on my bench, but they've been very average, below average this year.
Kind of pedestrian.
Yes, definitely. But with DJ Moore and Deontay Johnson, I do feel good about what they can do and the volume that they get. Obviously, I've got Patty, and he can put together a 30 or 40 point, performance for me.
So, are you gonna keep your defense?
I'm not.
Okay.
I have already made a move to replace my defense, but I'm just, things are pending.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting because if you look, Kansas City Miami's the international game this week, so that one's going to start at 8:30 Sunday morning.
Yeah, I don't feel confident that Miami is going to do too well against Kansas City. I think that Kansas City is going to get the better of them in that game.
You do. I'm sort of on the opposite end. I think Miami comes away with that one.
And I also, and that could very well happen, but I don't want my defense working against my quarterback in this matchup. It's very similar with what was happening. I think it was Parsons' game.
Yeah, I agree. Anytime your starting quarterback is going against your starting defense, you want to try to find another option for defense if possible.
Yeah.
Unless you're Parson, don't take that advice.
I don't know. I mean, that does help me a lot with Amon-Ra being out.
I will say, what a game to give the international fans. To pluck that game away from the American fans is just tragic.
And you don't want to give Germany a shout out?
I mean,
shout out Germany.
Taking that game to communist Germany, are we playing it in West Berlin? I mean, come on now. That's very communist of the NFL to take that game away from the American fans. It's a tough one.
It's in Frankfurt.
I will say the same thing happened. So the Ravens and Titans game was supposed to be in Nashville this year. They plucked it and took it, and the Titans fans were like extremely upset. Like, yo, y'all took our best home game away and sent it overseas. So that's kind of the rough area you get with that. Also in that game, look at the travel. I'm telling you, whichever team gets there first, I'm pretty sure it's like 75 to 80% that they win. So look at the travel for real.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. That the more time the players have to sort of get used to the time zone, the better. So that is something to monitor this week. Just see which team gets there, like Kansas City, Miami both get there Thursday, or one gets there Friday, vice versa, just whatever. Whoever's got the most time to get sort of used to the international waters, they seem to benefit from that.
Well, if I had to pick a matchup, I'm going Trey in this. I don't see myself getting a dub.
I kind of like what you talked about earlier. Kmet has been involved. Looks like Smith and Jigba's getting a little bit more involved. I'm going to lean you in this matchup, honestly, even though you spotted me earlier. So I'm going to just kill you with kindness.
Hey, it's not that I'm rooting against you.
No, not at all.
I want that to be clear, but
I'm just going to go back and clip that and put it in my phone and just replay it later.
Oh my gosh.
Psych myself and
no, but anyways, I just wanted to say that I appreciate that, but I think that Trey's probably going to come away with it, but we'll split on that decision. We'll see how that goes this upcoming week.
And does that cover all the matchups?
That's it, man.
Look at us. We missed last week. We've gotten both weeks caught up, already previewed this week.
All in 51 minutes.
Let's go. We are getting efficient.
Yes, we are. We can just highlight that this week's Thursday matchup is the Steelers at Tennessee.
Reverse that.
It's going to be the Steelers at Pittsburgh. Or no, sorry, it'll be the Titans at Pittsburgh.
Yep. Titans are traveling to Pittsburgh.
Dadgummit. It's got it backwards on my screen.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's got to be. It's at Tennessee.
Look, Deontay Johnson plays for Pitt.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You're just not used to having Deontay Johnson plugged in your lineup.
I think that's what it is. Messing with my brain, man.
That's what we're going to say.
That's the first primetime game. Steelers Titans. I like that.
Yep, should be a good matchup. We get Will Levis and see if that hot streak can continue, or if that was just one of those one luck wonder kind of games where he just throws them up. D-Hop comes down with it. But as a D-Hop owner, I'm rooting for that.
What's the Monday night game this week?
Monday night game. Dang it. I was hoping that somebody had somebody. I can't remember.
Let's see.
I know the Sunday night is that Bills-Bengals. Monday night Chargers at the Jets. Which actually may not be a bad game.
Chargers at the Jets? Ooh.
For Monday night. Sunday night, Bills at Bengals. And just one little side note, big game for me this week, Cowboys at Eagles.
That is a big game. Have you and Sloman
We
already
have not.
Okay.
We have not gotten there yet. We will.
I'm sure you will.
And speaking of your team, you've got a big game this week.
Let's see. We have. This is the wrong week. Week 9.
Yeah, there you go.
Seahawks Ravens. So we're 2-1 away, and the Ravens are 2-1 at home. I don't.
It's going to be a good game to take the points in right there, fellas. I really believe in the Seahawks here.
Yeah.
They chopped up that Cleveland Browns defense.
And what about those throwback unis? I think you made a comment about best throwback uniforms in the league, dude. I think the Seahawks throwback unis have to be right up there with it.
They do. They do take a spot in the top 5, easy.
Oh yeah, I agree.
But you're still putting creamsicle over it.
Yeah, I would put creamsicle over it. I'd even probably put those Houston Oilers throwbacks.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm just biased.
I'm telling y'all, fellas, that's a great jersey.
Yep, I agree. The entire layout Sunday against the Falcons, even the painting on the field, it was sweet.
All out. And like people don't realize, like people were like, they're like, the Oilers were in Houston. Well, like there was like 1 or 2 years where they were the Tennessee Oilers. Am I mistaken on that? I'm pretty sure.
No, that's correct. It was the Tennessee Oilers for maybe a year. It was short term.
It was very short, but still, like they had that Oilers name in Tennessee, so I feel like that gives them every right to wear it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So who are you taking in that Cowboys-Eagles matchup, Jeff? The Eagles are 3-0 at home.
They are. I'll say this: I am shocked that this line is just 3.
I was thinking the same thing, honestly.
I felt like this was at least maybe 5, but dude, if I'm getting some value with, I don't know. It's tough. Obviously, I want us to come away with a win, but it just seems like when we go to tough territory such as San Francisco or Philly, we just seem to struggle. So I'd probably take Philly in the 3 right here.
So,
yeah,
an interesting little thing. Is that going to start at 4:25 Eastern time?
Yes.
So that's going to end up being a night game. Like second half is going to be completely in the night. So, historically you want to lean the under in those games, but I think that it might be an overplay right here. 46 is just a little too low. I think we see one team at least score in the 30s. Whoever wins is going to score in the 30s. I feel like.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And not to
Raiders and Giants game, I feel like hard under on this one.
I feel like hard pass. I'm not watching a second of that crap.
See, and here's where that game can get out of hand. The Giants' defensive line is the worst in the league. All right, and their offensive line is also one of the worst. So, like, with the running game that the Raiders have, it could be an eat fest. And 37.5, you don't want to see Jacobs and Saquon both go for 200 and 3 tuds each, and then that game go over at 37. I mean, it's tough. It's just a tough line.
I hate those lines or at least the over-unders where it's 37, because to me it's just like, okay, I just need a score of 21-17. In the NFL, you're thinking that's nothing, but you get teams like the Giants and the Raiders, and it's just a struggle fest. So
yeah, I mean, I know I called a game the other week. I'm pretty sure I called it the Toilet Bowl, but like that's legit. The toilet.
Yeah, that's a
like, could the NFL not start flexing like Just be like, yeah, instead of playing, you're like 3 weeks out, you're not even really worried about this team. Just be like, yo, instead of playing this team, you're playing this team. All right,
So the NFL has now reached the point where they can start flexing games, and I've actually seen a couple of games get flexed. I can't remember the matchups, but I was going to tell you guys, I think it's next Sunday night, the primetime game that they currently have in place is the Vikings and the Broncos.
No, they better flex that.
Yeah, so that's one that's being discussed right now is possibly getting flexed out.
That'll be the lowest viewership, in primetime history, probably.
And I'm going to make sure I've got that right, but I'm pretty sure I saw Vikings Broncos.
And I
I think
mean,
we all saw the Cardinals season turning out, kind of how it's gone so far. But it's funny that their only win for the year is against Dallas.
yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Shut up.
And they're playing a 4-3 Browns who are 3-1 at home. Like, that is nuts.
Big
They're an
bounce.
8-point favorite.
Yeah,
They
it's a huge bounce back for Cleveland with Watson potentially returning too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess with them making a QB change, and I don't know if it's going to be Kyler.
What about the battle of the 4-4s right here? Vikings and Falcons.
Falcons easy.
Do you think so?
Backup quarterback for the Vikings.
If the Vikings defense shows up though, like it's gonna be a low. That's the game to take the under probably.
Absolutely.
So that's an under game right there. Yeah, 37.5 on that one. That's an easy under. I'm seeing like 17-7, 17-10 in that one.
I agree.
What about the Rams-Packers game? I feel like the Packers are another team that struggles to put up points sometimes.
Yeah.
So is Stafford is he questionable or have they already ruled him out?
He's just questionable. He's day-to-day. It's another, I think what I read was UCL sprain in his thumb.
So we're talking like right here?
Yes, yeah, right there. But he's not listed on the injury report. Let me go.
No.
One thing about Matthew Stafford is that dude is a dog.
Dude, he'll play. I'm not concerned.
I don't know if y'all saw that NFL Films clip that's been circulating for a couple of years, but like,
certified. Oh, you're talking about when he separated his shoulder?
Yeah, well, I mean, like certified dog. That stamps it right there.
I mean, to be honest, both of these teams have struggled to put up, a lot of points. Green Bay
against Las Vegas that one night, they got absolutely manhandled by Max Crosby.
Oh man, yeah.
Like he had a hell of a game, and that worries me. That worries me a lot in this matchup. I feel like the Rams with Aaron Donald. Is Aaron Donald still? I thought he was hurt or something. Is he still playing?
No, he's still good. Still on the Rams.
Yeah. I knew he was rumored to be traded. But I think
he could retire at one point.
He could wreak havoc in this game, honestly.
Yeah, and I don't know what to think. Packers are a 3-point favorite, but they've lost 4 straight games. This one's tough. Mm-hmm. I might lean Rams.
Yeah. I would feel confident with the Rams on that pick.
I really wish we would have seen Jameis go to Minnesota, though. When I saw that rumor, I was like, what a perfect fit.
I know, dude, and especially for, like, in my case where I've got Jefferson and Jameis would just go out there and sling that thing 40 times a game.
Yeah.
Just don't care. He don't care.
He don't. He's thrown for 30 touchdowns and 30 picks in 1 year.
The 30-30 club. The untouchable.
It's unreal.
Well, I guess, Jeff, unless there's anything else you want to touch on, that may wrap it up for our Week 9 episode.
Yeah, I think we covered the past 2 weeks where we missed, and then this previous weekend previewed this upcoming week, even hit some NFL matchups. I feel good.
Yeah, talked about a couple of trades that went on, and I feel like it's good. We have some interesting matchups this upcoming week.
Yep.
A couple that we were split on, so it's going to be competitive. I mean, we still got a lot of teams that are in it.
Oh, I think everybody's in it mathematically. even, I know Jonas and DJ are just they may feel a certain way about their team being 2-6, but they're still right in the thick of it because right now the 8 seed is sitting at 4-4, so just 2 games out of the 8th spot.
Well, I guess you boys got anything? Want to talk any other matchup?
I'm good.
All right. Well, for those that want,
appreciate you joining, Rules.
Appreciate you, Rules, as always, man.
You too, Parson, even though you hadn't said anything.
Yeah, we know it's you, Tyler.
Smitty, Werbin, Jaegerman, Jensen.
He was number 1.
I'm number 1 this week, son.
Oh, man. All right. Appreciate you, Jeff, as always, and looking forward to seeing how these matchups turn out, and we'll catch y'all next week for episode number 9.
Yeah, have a good week. Hope everybody's matchups turns out well, and just looking forward to another week of the NFL.
Yep. See you guys.